this is Julie. Thanks for watching this week's EdTech Tuesday video. This week we'll be continuing our focus on Google's I Feel button. As we've discussed before, the I'm Feeling button can be used for 4 great reasons in the classroom: finding new reading sources for you and your students, finding great academic texts, looking at visual texts, and allowing your students some independence to practice their academic internet exploration. To get started, go to google.com. To use the I'm Feeling button, hover over the I'm Feeling Lucky and it will change to something else. This week we're going to look at I'm Feeling Doodly. When you click on this, it takes you to the Google Doodles. These are the artistic renderings of the Google logo you'll find at the top of the Google page when you go to the Google page at different times. When you look at this one, you'll see that it took me randomly to Mark Twain's 176th birthday. The great thing about this page is it gives you some information that you may not have had before about a particular person. And here you'll see that you can read about Mark Twain and his life. If you scroll down the page, you'll also see the creative process for creating that Google. It will show you where this Google Doodle was viewable in what countries. You'll see this one had a wide range. And then it'll also show you on this particular day in history what were some of the other Google Doodles that were there. So I'm going to click on one here just to kind of show you how different it looks. This is St. Andrew's Day, and as I scroll down the page, you'll see that this Google Doodle was only viewable in Great Britain. So I could click on that one and see other doodles from the United Kingdom. Instead, I will go back to the first doodle that we were looking at and go to that Google Doodle's reach. And I can click on any of the continents because this Google Doodle was in several different countries. So I'm going to click on Mexico and it will show me Google Doodles that were just shown in Mexico. So I have lots of different choices here. I'm going to click on this one for the Day of the Dead in 2014. Some of these Google Doodles are interactive, so this one for the Day of the Dead is going to show a video. So it plays a little song and gives this graphic as it goes through. So students can find that entertaining and interesting. So if I scroll a little further down the page, it'll give me that same information, the doodle's reach, and I can see where it was viewable in the world. At the top of the page, you have a few other options that you can look at. You can click on the Doodles archive at the top of the page, and that will show you the archive of images within the last few days, and you can search for particular time periods, etc. You can click on About and it explains how doodles are created and designed and gives you some other fun facts about these doodles. You can search doodles for a particular topic. So I searched for running, and some of them are relevant, some of them aren't. So you'll see that I have the anniversary of the modern Olympic Games. I also have Frederick Douglass. And I have some other runners and marathoners, but not all of them will fit the topic, but many of them do. And then there's also this Doodle for Google up here at the top. This is their annual contest. Students can create their own Google Doodles and submit them to Google to potentially be presented on Google. So they have an archive of their previous winners. The contest happens in the fall, so you could do it as a back-to-school project if you wanted to. And there's a picture of the Google Doodle winner from last year. And they have different grade bands too. So if you scroll down the page, you'll see that they have national finalists, state and territory winners in different grade levels. These are the K5 winners. and they have the criteria on there during the time that the contest is active. So you can see what kinds of things students did to create a Google Doodle. So these can work as mentor texts if you want your students to create one and submit it as a project. So there's a lot of potential for using the Google Doodle or I'm Feeling Doodly part of the I'm Feeling button in your classroom. So let's look at a different one. This is I'm Feeling Puzzled. When you click on this one, you get to a Google a Day, which is a daily contest where you get 3 trivia questions and you try to accrue as many points as possible in order to answer those questions. So I'm going to use the Google search box to start searching for the answer to this question. When students type in the entire question, they don't get the best results. So this is a good way to teach them how to narrow their search to get better results. You'll see that the entire question is a search result, but it's not always the best one. So I go on this website, I end up not finding what I'm looking for, so underneath I'll put in my answer, and it's not the right answer. So I ask it to give me a hint, and I didn't find the hint helpful. So then I can click on the first few letters, and it will give me the letters of the answer. So after quite a bit of searching and several wrong answers, I finally figured it out. And then it takes me to question number 2. There are 3 questions in the series when you play this game. To answer this question, I ended up on Wikipedia looking for some information, and when I found it, then I had to go do an image search. So you'll find that this Google a Day really challenges your students to do a continued linked search where they have to do several different searches to get to the correct answer. So it's not a simple one-word search answer. They have to look in multiple places, and that can be a great skill to practice. So I found what I was looking for, and I put in my answer. And then I look at the next question, and I can answer that one. So when I do, it takes me to the end, and I see my final score. So you can see how this could be a fun game to play with your class if you had 15 or 20 minutes of time to practice Google searching skills, especially in middle school or early grades in high school, because they are going to need to be doing a lot of internet searches. Before we move on to our last options today, we're going to look at 2 that aren't very useful for the classroom, and that is I'm Feeling Hungry, which takes you to the closest restaurants. Probably not all that helpful unless you're having students do some kind of geography project where they have to do directions to a restaurant. And then I'm Feeling Playful, which takes you to the Google Doodles that are interactive. You look at this one, I don't have the sound in here right now, but as I'm clicking on these keys, it plays music. I can play with the adjustments at the top and it will change it. If you go off to the side, on the right side there, you can record what you have done and then play it back. So not a lot of core subject application here, but if you're doing some kind of artistic project with your students or you're incorporating music in some way, then these interactive doodles can be a fun way to use that in the classroom. So the last one we're going to look at today is the I'm Feeling Stellar, and that one takes you to something having to do with the stars. Every day the result you get when you click on this button is different. Today it gave me an image search for the Orion Nebula. Other days it will take you to a certain kind of astronomical body. What is a nebula? What is a star? Other times it will be like this, an image search. If you're teaching about the universe or about different astronomical objects and ideas, I'm Feeling Stellar can be a great way for your students to explore different things every day. Thanks for watching this week's EdTech Tuesday video.